Hi folks. Well, there's a whole lot of illegals crossing into Texas over where there used to be a southern border. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of them have been invading Texas. So the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, he asked some of these illegals, would you like to go to Washington, D.C.? Washington, D.C. is one of them there sanctuary cities, meaning if you're in the country illegally, come to Washington, D.C. We'll welcome you and we'll give you services that we don't give our people who are here legally. So come to Washington, D.C. You'll be protected and taken care of. So Governor Abbott asked him, you want to go to Washington, D.C.? And they said, sure, we'll go. So a number of buses from Texas went to Washington filled with illegals. Then he thought to himself, how about we send some to the city of New York, because that too is a sanctuary city. And he asked the illegals, would you like to go to New York City? And they said, sure, send us to the city of New York. And he did that, a number of buses. Now recently he sent them to another sanctuary city, which I have a concern for. And that sanctuary city was Chicago. And the concern is, I sure hope these illegals who agreed to go to Chicago are not greeted with a Chicago welcome. Because Chicago is riddled with violence. Not only is it riddled with violence, it's riddled with a stupid Democrat mayor. And this stupid Democrat mayor happens to be the name of Lori Lightfoot. I'll call her Lori Lightheaded. When the illegals arrived in her fair city, the violent city, she made a comment about Governor Abbott sending them to her sanctuary city by saying it was a manufactured crisis.
He is manufacturing a human crisis, and it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, manufactured. And you know something? The dummy's right. It was a manufactured crisis. Manufactured by the Democratic Party and that dope in the White House, Joe Biden. They manufactured the crisis by erasing the southern border. So maybe the dope was right when she said that. Then she said this.
And how we're treating these people who are coming to our country because they're fleeing violence.
Gee, these illegals are fleeing violence. Fleeing violence? Yeah, I don't doubt that. But they're fleeing violence and going into violence. That's what Chicago is. Violence. Those poor unfortunate souls traveling all across Mexico, coming across the way there used to be a border, to escape violence, to be sent into violence. And then the dummy said this.
He professes to be a Christian. This is not the Christianity and the teachings of the Bible that I know.
She's going to talk about what a Christian is? The one who supports abortion, the killing of lives, of human lives? She's got the nerve to talk about what a Christian is? And listen, Miss Lori Lightheaded, I don't think that was a comment or a statement you should have made in addition to the other lunatic statements that you made. But let's continue with Lori Lightheaded. Once again, she mentions this.
Human beings deserving of dignity and respect.
Yeah, human beings need to be respected, so said she. The nerve of you asking illegals if they want to come to Chicago, put them on air-conditioned buses and send them to Chicago. Because in Chicago, we have respect for humans. Yeah, that's the respect they have, all right. And then once again, she brings up a manufactured crisis.
That's no way that any government should operate. It's not necessary. As I said, it's a manufactured crisis.
I guess Listen, sweetheart, you need to turn that manufacturing crisis to Washington, D.C. and your Democratic Party, because they are the ones that manufacture this crisis by erasing the southern border and by incidentally, speaking of which, don't be Joe Biden administration. They've been transporting illegals all across the country, putting them on planes and flying them in the middle of the night to various cities around the country so they would not be noticed. They did it on the sneak, where Governor Abbott is not sneaking anything. They arrive in these sanctuary cities during the daylight with the news media presence to see. So those poor people, unfortunately, who agreed to be bused to Washington, to Chicago, you have my sympathy. I sure hope no harm comes to you in that violent city run by the Democratic Party and Lori Lightheaded. We'll see you. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the nation you happen to be in. See ya.